Right, we are back with another In That Number podcast. I'll start off here, Ben, with Jackson Hastings on the bench. Have you listened to that yet?
I have, yeah. It's a good listen. Any Saints fan that
Yeah,
hasn't, check it out. It's on about 25 minutes or so. It's a good
yeah.
little interview.
He's saying all the right things, isn't he? In regards to
Yeah, saying
mentoring Whitby and
absolutely,
all
yeah.
that carry on.
Yeah, saying all the right things you want to hear. Obviously, we've got to see it, you know, the behaviour in practice, but it's a good sign that I think he's had a daughter recently. I think that's made him grow up a bit, I see a different
Yeah,
Jackson Hastings a little bit. Yeah, like there was a bit of seemed to be a bit of accountability that I've not seen from him before about why things might not have worked out. Um, Obviously, he's still got that belief in himself, and he still thinks there were other things at play. And I always say, the truth is always in between what both people think. It might be more towards one person, but it's never perfectly what each person thinks. It's always somewhat on the scale.
there's always like a grey area there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's always, your version, my version, the truth is the saying. But there seemed to be a bit more accountability for things that had gone wrong, and he seemed to be really excited to be in a first team, to be a leader again. I just think he thrives on that. And I said this last time. He's like a Wellesby character. It's like the reason things went poorly is because coach came in that didn't want to pick him, and yeah, he didn't make things better for himself. He did down tools a little bit. I think last season. I watched some of his New South Wales Cup performances. He didn't want to be there. But in this environment where you're on primetime Sky Sports TV, you're going to be one of the best players theoretically in the team. I think it's a really hungry Jackson Hastings.
Yeah.
I
He
think he
knows where he's
wants,
getting with Rowley as well.
yeah, he wants to go back to the NRL, right? But that's good. That's because if he plays well enough to go back to the NRL, then God, he's had a great season. So when
Yeah, it's
people
only going to
say
benefit
that,
us, isn't it?
like it is bad, you don't lose players all the time. But the other side of that, what I always say to people is that means they've had a great fucking season, and it means we might have won something. So he's only here for a year, but he goes away with a Super League or a Challenge Cup, worth it for me,
There you
more
go.
than worth it.
And like I said,
And
he
yeah,
wants to take Whitby under his wing as well, which is what
yeah,
we've been wanting.
and I think when you're a young lad like Whitby, I said I'm not going to psychoanalyze or anything, but I've only briefly said hello to him, I think twice ever. Um, he does seem obviously like someone would be who's that age, just a little bit. He's not a big, loud personality, which you're not going to be in that
Yeah,
environment when you're like
but
19,
he's
20.
excited to be out there.
And I think Hastings will give him that because you need a bit of arrogance. You need a bit of,
Yeah,
I'm the general, I'm going to enforce what happens on the pitch. You need a halfback to be like that. What great halfback hasn't been? Someone who wants to be on the ball all the time and wants to do everything. Couldn't name you one. So I think he's going to get that little bit of, he's going to get a bit of, learn to be a bit of a dick, but in a good way. Like you
yeah.
need to
Like
be
if
a bit
you
of
want to put
arrogance.
if you want to put a chip and chase over, you need to have the confidence
Yeah.
in yourself to do
And,
it.
a chip on his shoulder a little bit, I think is just what
Yeah,
Whitby needs. Not too much. You got to get the balance. You got to make
yeah,
sure
in the right way.
you're learning properly and you're still knowing when you've made mistakes, but in the right way, you do need that little bit of
Yeah,
arrogance when you're in the attack. I think Hastings is a great person because he wants to be the conductor all the time. And Whitby will learn from that and he'll know not to be a passenger at halfback. He'll know to get involved in.
yeah,
People have thrown around all these combinations. There's a part of me that really wants to see Hastings at 6 and Whitby at 7. And I know you
yeah.
might think, well, what do you do with Sailor then? Because you're going to put Wellesby at fullback,
It's
and I
rotation,
get
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, it's rotation. I get it. I'd love to see that tried against, try it against a team at home that you're confident against. Put Sailor or Wellesby on the
Yeah,
bench just
like
for
a
one game.
Castleford, something like that.
Yeah, but because I think the best way you learn is you learn next to that person on the pitch. Um, Not that Whitby can't learn from Sailor or Lomax or Wellesby. You can learn loads from all of them. But I think in terms of someone who's at the best performance in the halves, Hastings for me would be our best half, theoretically. We don't know yet. I'd love to see Whitby play on the pitch with him, I really would. I
Yeah,
think he could learn a lot there.
yeah. You would essentially like to have a ball kicking halfback and the running halfback as well,
Mm.
which is what you get with Hastings and Sailor, and you get it with
To be
Whitby and
fair,
Sailor as well.
I think Whitby can be that. He's not like Billy Slater in his prime, but he showed a few breaks when he played last year where he's not
He
like
has
as
got a bit of
slow.
pace.
He's got a decent bit of pace. Hastings isn't too bad either.
Yeah.
He's not completely, he's not like long in his last year or anything. He can break a line. He's probably not going to go a full length, but Hastings can still break a line with a decent step. So I think you've got enough running there with both of them. You do get more if you've got Sailor or Wellesby. That is true. But you also get two kicking games if you've got Whitby
Yeah.
and Hastings, which is so it's a good problem to
Depends
have.
what you're up against, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, I think, for Rowley
Oh, yeah.
because
You'll know what to
there's
do.
each combination has got its own strengths, and it might be depending on the opposition, you change it. People talk about Whitby maybe being, and I think this is what's going to happen. When Dodd first came in, I can't remember if it was like end of 21, I think he played a lot on the bench as 14, and he'd come on at hooker, or if the halfback got injured, he might slot in there. I think he might have played out in the backs, covering during a game once. I think that's probably where Whitby's going to be, the back on the bench, which I don't
Yeah.
mind. But there is a part of me that I'd love
So
to
it was
see that
also the
dual
Roby
kicking
job
game.
as well, wasn't it? When he first come in.
But I also think Sailor could play that role. You could
Yeah.
start Whitby and Hastings, and I think, and I know it's not what he came to do, but what's best for the team, and I'm sure Sailor would do that. I think Sailor
Imagine.
as a running hooker, just running from
Yeah.
dummy half.
That's it. Imagine if a fresh, fast
Because we
Sailor
saw it in
against a
one game,
tied
didn't
pack.
we? We saw
Yeah.
it in like one game and it looked all
Yeah.
right last year. I can't remember the opposition, but I remember he did it in one game last year where he came on to spell Clark. I liked it,
Yeah,
If
I
you're
didn't mind
only
it.
if you're only doing 10, 15-minute stints, you don't have to have the greatest distribution in the world. Obviously, you want it to be decent, but he's a fullback, he's a halfback, he can pass a ball. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want Sailor as that 14, you have Whitby, and when Sailor comes on, maybe then Sailor goes to the halfback and then Whitby goes to hooker. You can really switch things up and make it harder for teams to prepare, I think. If you have either Whitby or Sailor on the bench, that's for me tough to prepare for
Yeah.
because then you can change about four combinations
The,
on the
the, the
pitch.
entire attack changes.
And you can do it attack by attack. You could run one attack where Sailor plays the ball, and then the next tackle, Whitby could go and play the ball, and then very hard to prepare. So we're looking. It's all well and good to say it on paper, but we don't know what's going to happen yet. But as a starting point, I don't think Rowley could have asked for much more with what he's got, considering the lows of last season. I think he'd be made. I think he's going to be made up. I think he does seem very happy with what he's got. There's a few little holes to fill still. A transformation doesn't happen overnight. We've done well to sign the amount of players we have in one off season. I talked about this where rugby league doesn't often have a lot of players available at once. So I think Leeds made this mistake a few years ago. And it's how they dropped to the bottom half of the table for a good few years because you can't replace that many good players at once.
Yeah.
And we've done it.
It's not. You can't do it in one window.
We've done a lot more than I thought because I still thought we would be a centre, halfback, and a prop short. We've got the prop, we've got the halfback. We don't know whether the centre will happen, but even if it's just one more season, we're all right. We've got Robertson, we've got Cross, who's okay as a backup. We sign a centre next season. That's fine.
Yeah, and we filled 4 overseas quarter spots as well.
And we know we're after a centre. The club have made it clear. So we know that even if it doesn't work out this off-season, we know the club are going to sign a centre next year for definite. We know, they've made it clear. So we know we're moving in the right direction, even if we don't.
Are we on the hope? Are we on the hope that Lewis Murphy stays fit and Dagnall's the centre, phasing Percival out?
Again, that's an option too. That is an option, and it's exciting. There's so many different ways it could go. I think.
Yeah. Saying that, we've got Douglas there now.
Yeah, I think Dagnall could be a great winger. I'm sure he could develop into it, and that might end up being his position.
I think he can play across the back five.
I've seen him play so much at centre and academy. I'd love to see him at least try to develop there a bit because I think you get more out of a centre than a winger.
You only got put on the wing because of Lewis Murphy being injured.
An injury crisis. I think Benison was out at the time as well, and there was no wingers.
Yeah.
I do think Robertson, it's hard for him because I think his position will be fullback or six eventually. But
Yeah.
right now, how does he get in at
Leave him,
fullback
yeah,
or
leave
six?
him where he is.
There's
Leave him
400
where he is for
players
now.
right now.
Yeah.
So for me, it might be better that he stays centre. But obviously, there's still a depth problem because Percy will miss some games. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you're straight in at Cross. And then if Cross gets a knock, you're then back to the second rowers straight away. Only takes a couple injuries, and we've got forwards playing centre again. So then, yeah, if Murphy can stay fit, then you're right. You then have that bonus option of you move Dagnall in, no forward play centre. Then you've got Murphy or Dagnall to play.
Yeah.
So with the
And
wing
Douglas
options
as
we've
well,
got,
if Bell gets injured or whatever.
we should avoid, hopefully, barring a crisis, we should avoid any more Matt Whitley's or
Yeah.
Matautia from the year before playing centre, which was just pretty painful to not their fault, but
don't
pretty
mind
painful
Whitley
to
at centre
watch.
for his defending, but his
But he wouldn't.
attack isn't top
Yeah,
there,
the
is it?
attack dies on his wing, and with how
Yeah.
Rowley wants to attack, would make us way
Yeah, he
too
wants to throw the ball
one-dimensional.
around.
Yeah, but interested to see what's going to happen. I think long term we'll see as Dagnall as centre, probably someone who can play both. There's been quite a lot of them over the years. I think it'll be one of them where he'll play centre or wing depending on what the team needs
Yeah.
each week. I think
Dion
that's
Cross
what
can
will
play
happen.
wing if need be. Well, he's a winger
True.
anyway, isn't he?
And I do think Robertson, I don't see Saylor staying too long term. I might be wrong, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't offer, even if, unless he had a very good year, that I think we might be happy to let Saylor go and get Robertson pushed into. I don't know. There's a lot of ways it could go, but I do think Robertson has to end up at fullback or six because I just think his ball handling is very underrated and we haven't been able to see a lot of it yet. And I think he's very good at it. So, and he's more pace.
Yeah,
Like
and Joe, he's passing of the ball under pressure as well.
Yeah, pass the ball, the pressure, more pace, and with the way Wellesby's slowing down a bit, I still think whether he likes it or not, and I don't think you can judge what happened under Wellens and that those group of players because nobody was playing that well. I do think Wellesby ends up at six as he slows down over the next few years, coming from his mid-20s into his late 20s. He's already started slowing down a bit pace-wise, I think. And I think he takes that Darren Lockyer route, who started as the fullback, and when he lost a bit of his legs, he still had a great understanding of the game. He was a great passer. He moved to stand off, more central. And I think under a coach who's better at coaching in an attack, like Rowley will be, because people like to point out that Wellesby didn't play that well at six under Wellens. Again, I'd argue none of the combinations ever really played that well. Also, Wellesby won a grand final in 22 playing at six.
Yeah.
Wellesby played six
there was
for most
too
of
many
after the Dodd
combinations in that
injury.
spine last season.
Yeah, after the Dodd injury in 2022, Wellesby won the grand final playing. He can play standoff. He just needs the right coach and the right environment. And I would
he needs
be
the right
tempted.
halfback with him as well.
Yeah, and I think with the right halfback, with the right coach, I think Wellesby, even though it looked a bit clunky last season because he was overplaying a lot, and I think it was a bit one-dimensional. It was a bit just letting players have a bit too much say, maybe. I think with a stricter, more organised attack, you get Wellesby in there and more pace at fullback in someone like Saylor or Robertson. That's what I'd be looking to do with a Hastings at 7, Whitby on the bench. But we'll have to see what happens because I'm sure, depending on form and training, that combination could change a lot. So,
yeah, just to go back to Hastings as well. What I liked the most of what he said was, listen, I'll be happy to sign a contract, but the contract needs to be there first. So he's basically saying, I'm playing for a place in this team.
Well, that's it. With the reputation he's got, the NRL might still not come knocking, even if he has a great season. So he's got to play well, not just for the potential NRL call, but to keep playing Super League potentially. Because he's at a crossroads now. If he has an awful year, whether it's on the field or off, where does he get like another gig at the top level in England or the NRL again? So he needs to play for that contract, no matter where the contract's coming from at this point.
Yeah. Other news: Matty Lees named as captain. Lomax has stood down, which tells me he knows he's getting limited game time now. And his testimonial came announced.
Somewhere.
Yeah. 26th of
Yeah,
January against Castleford.
and you know what? Fair play to Johnny. The videos
Yeah,
he put up,
he handed it
very
over himself there.
humble, very nice, and he's never someone that would take personal offence, anything like that. He's always one he's for the team first. And I think he probably knows that he's not going to be in that starting spine. I'm sure he will play.
Yeah,
I think we could see a mini resurgence with Rowley. Yes, the body is slowing down to play at the top level, but I saw moments where the brain was still there. The rugby
yeah.
brain was still there at times. He just couldn't
See,
quite
with the
get there
rugby
quick enough,
brain,
but
would you put him at 9
you can
if needed?
adapt. Possibly, and it's been floated on some message boards and Twitter, and people talk that down a lot, but I think he's a great defender for that's why he stayed on the side so long.
Yeah,
People forget. They like to point out the obvious deficiencies in attack, with all due respect. It was going a bit downhill. The reason he stayed in, though, is because for me, he's one of the best defending halfbacks in the world.
yeah. Very, very good at reading the game.
Most halfbacks, most people his size, you just expect they're going to miss some tackles.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't miss a lot of tackles. Look at the numbers. Doesn't miss a lot of tackles.
That's why I enjoyed him and Farge as a combination.
Yeah, and Farge was another one. People talk down about his attack, but they missed what he brought. He was a great defender for how small he was. Yeah, I think Lomax, it's an out of left field option because he would have to tackle a lot more than he's used to. But if he's only doing 10, 15-minute spells there.
Yeah.
Because I just think like a lot of it was execution. It wasn't like a lot of the wrong ideas. It was a lot of the right ideas. He just wasn't executing it. Yeah. And for me, that gives me something where we're not going to get 2019-18 Johnny Lomax back. No. That's time. It happens. It's gone. But with Rowley and with the new signings and a bit more freedom in attack, and he'll have a bit more time, hopefully, with spreading the ball left and right a bit more. So he's not, like last season where we were up the middle, the defender's got 20 seconds at the play of the ball, and Johnny had a defender there after 1 second, and he's not lightning quick anymore. If we're dominating teams a bit more in the forwards and he's got a bit more room where that his slower reaction times, he can still get away with stuff. I don't know. I'm not saying
dummy half scoot.
Yeah, I'm not saying overnight he's going to become world class again because time happens, but I think some people might be writing him off as completely, he's got nothing left. I doubt that. I think he's got, with Rowley, I think we're going to see one last moment or something's going to happen, I think. And I'll come back to this podcast. I'll gloat about it. I'm telling you. So I think
go back to episode 60 and we'll look back at it.
Yeah, he's going to give us something. There's still too much there in that head of his. There's still, he was recognizing gaps in space. The timing of those passes,
his legs weren't letting him do it.
Yeah, the hands were a bit slow, or the timing was off, but it wasn't like he looked like a headless chicken. I don't think he looked like he'd lost what he had to do. I didn't see that, so be interesting to see how he's used because I think injuries happen. You need rotation. We'll see him. We'll see Lomax. How does he get used? It'll be interesting. To see.
I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, Lees didn't expect it as captain, to be honest.
I see, and I've heard that it was part of the deal to keep him.
Because I would have thought, I was certain it was going Welsby's way as a way to try to.
I think Welsby's vice captain.
He is, yeah. Well, that's why I thought he was already vice captain, I think. So I thought he was already going to get naturally promoted. But maybe the thinking is, and I get this, he's not had a great year, international or domestic. He seems like the type of player who will beat himself up a lot about that, who will put a lot of pressure on himself. Rowley's probably thinking he doesn't need the expectations and pressure of a captain as well. He needs to focus on getting back to being Jack Welsby again. So I get it.
It was like when John Wilkin had the armband. You know what I mean? It hindered him.
Yeah. And I think that just works. He would be, I think, a decent captain because I think he's someone who likes pressure and responsibility. But after last season, he's going to have so many media and journalists and other people talking about forensically examining what his performances are. Does he need he's already going to be a leader anyway, because I know Saints operate with a leadership group where it's not just the captain or the vice captain. it's like a group of like the most experienced players. So he's going to be in the leadership group anyway. Wellsby, I think Rowley's right. If I'm predicting he's thinking right, which is I don't think Wellsby needs the pressure right now after last season of being a captain. Give it to somebody else. Let Wellsby focus on what he's doing. Um, Lees plays long minutes. He leads from the front. So
Yeah.
and he's a loud character. He's going to shout at people. He's going to motivate people. So yeah, when you think about it a little bit, then yeah, it becomes a bit less surprising. But the initial reaction, I was just certain Wellsby was going to get named. But hey, there it is.
Yeah. I mean, other than Lomax and Walmsley, he is the most experienced player there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it says to me that Walmsley as well is going to have limited time.
Yeah, well, I think he's already has that kind of anyway now because he has to get the most out of him. You need to spell him a lot,
I
which
think he's an off the bench player now, Walmsley myself.
yeah. To be fair, I think he could start still because he gets you onto a good front foot. But I think if you start Walmsley, you bench Clemmer. If you start Clemmer, you bench Walmsley. I
Yeah.
think that's
Well,
how
I
you
think
do it.
Clemmer's going, he's got number 13 on his, so see,
Yeah, I think
I'll
he'll
have to
play
see what
prop though.
happens with that. That loose forward
Yeah,
role is just another
it,
barrel of fish.
I'm pretty sure he'll be playing prop, but he's got decent hands anyway, Clemmer. So you never know, but he'll
Yeah.
play prop. But um, it's a great to have that now because I think you have, like I said, my combinations would be something like Walmsley, Lees. I think you start with, and then I think off the bench you have Clemmer, and then you mix it between Stevens and Delaney. You mix them two.
Yeah. I
You have
do
like a
want Stevens to have more time.
yeah, but I think Delaney needs some more as well too. So I think top two, you meet a makers who play maybe 15, 20 minutes, Clemmer and Walmsley.
Yeah.
Lees, you can play as long as you want. And then the other short stints, I think you play Delaney and Stevens in short stints. I think we were running Delaney a bit too much into the ground last year,
Yeah.
which is what we were getting frustrated at, that
He
Stevens
started
wasn't
making
getting a look
mistakes then,
in.
didn't
Yeah, Stevens wasn't getting a look in. Delaney was playing long minutes as, he's not the biggest forward in the world. He does run the ball very hard and defends well, has a good aggression, tries to get on his front a lot. But man, we were playing him for way too long in the game last year at times. So good to have that depth, good rotation in the forwards as well.
Yeah. And I was saying these testimonial games on the 26th of January against Castleford,
It is. That'll be
which
the
leads me into
friendly.
the fixtures. What the bloody hell is Mike Rush thinking putting Catalan and Toulouse away 2 weeks apart? Do not want us going
Um,
over there.
well, I've heard the answer is they want to have the home games in the summer where you get as many fans in as possible because there's going to be no away fans, and usually with the Catalan and also Toulouse in the past. That's usually the game where they give free tickets out to the away stand, for sponsors and people who work for the sponsors companies. So you usually have a few thousand in that normal away stand. That's why they want the home games to be July, August, September, give away loads of tickets and get a nice full stadium. That's why. But it screws fans over. It screwed me over because I've not been for like 3 years now.
Yeah,
I was desperate to go to either of them. I was going to pick one or the other. And yeah, I probably, because I've got my birthday in March, it's probably no can do for me now. So
yeah. I mean, there's
another year,
a
unless
lot
we
of
get a
people
cup
who
draw.
go, a lot of people I know who go every year aren't bothering because it's in February.
And
It's going to be
also, yeah,
cold and nowhere's
if you
open.
go to the Catalan Sports Tour packages that do Toulouse and Catalan, you usually stay in holiday like villages and
Yeah,
holiday areas.
resorts.
Half of it will be shut. And I
Exactly.
know because I know somebody who went in February once. It was like the third game of the season a few years ago, I think, third or fourth. And they stayed in Lorette de Mar with Catalan Sports Tours, and they were like the only people there. And it's usually a
Yeah,
bustling. It's like a club and bar destination near Barcelona. If anyone doesn't know, it's usually loads of bars, a few big clubs. It was all shut at night, like everything shut
yeah,
early. Like, and it just wasn't that atmosphere you want of making a big weekend out of it. So it's for the hardcore of hardcores in winter going over there. So yeah, I won't be doing it unfortunately, unless something pops up last minute. Maybe I
yeah.
doubt
Maybe
it.
we get a Challenge
So
Cup game later on.
hopefully, yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, that's
Warrington
unfortunate.
away.
But
Royston away,
Yeah,
day one.
nice,
Oh, day
easy
one for
first
us.
game. Yeah, nice,
Oh, yeah.
easy
I mean,
first
well, they've
game.
already got it won.
You want to play a team that finished near the bottom of the table the year before
Yeah.
in your first game. You want to play a team that was near the relegation spots, and you want to play a team that's a bit of a mess behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lovely, easy first game for
It
us.
sets the tone for the rest of the
Hey!
season, doesn't it?
I couldn't keep that up. I was expecting
Oh,
you to laugh and you
you
didn't.
got. Do you know what? Because you're right. It weren't a joke. It's legit truth.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. I don't expect Warrington, in all seriousness. I don't expect them to be as bad as last year. I think
No.
they just seem to have a bit of a mess last season. Now, granted, they don't have loads of people in and out. The squad is fairly similar, only a couple of
Yeah.
signings.
We've got James Vaughan and Matt Duffy have gone.
But I think Duffy might have been a big problem behind the scenes there,
Yeah, I have
allegedly,
heard that.
from what I've heard. Um, I think also Sam, you remember Burgess is a very young coach and he'll be learning
Yeah.
and making mistakes like all the time in his first, gig as a coach. So he could get better. The coach
See,
could improve. The coach
this
could
brings
review
me
and
this
go,
brings me
"Oh,
to another point
I
here now,
made
Ben.
mistakes last year."
What does Sam Burgess and Paul Wellens have in common?
Well, they didn't both win the Super League, so no idea.
The first head coaching role was with these particular clubs in that spell. And people who are saying Wellens done shite can think again when I'll compare it to Burgess.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's
That's
a
all I'm going to
weird
say
one
on that.
because his first season they were pretty good. They fell off at the end, but they were pretty one of the top teams. And then I don't know. Is last season just an anomaly? Are they going to get worse? Is the problem players, have they gone? And was it just a mental harmony thing? And now they're all going to get along great and they're going to play. But they're the
I hope
biggest
not.
what maybe. They are the biggest maybe. Like they're the hardest team to predict for me, Warrington. The hardest team to predict
Yeah.
because we know there's players there. They've got more settled halfbacks. They only got it halfway through last season. Was it too late? Was there too much of a mess? Now with a full pre-season with those halfbacks in that look decent on paper, I don't know. Very hard to tell what way we're going to get.
Yeah. But either
I
way,
don't know.
it's their year. It's going
But
to be their
it's their
year.
year as always. But yes, we have the awful record against them. That is true. But it's a brand new start. We'll have a stronger squad on paper. I think that there'll be a lot of goodwill and good feeling at the start of it, which Rowley has to take advantage of. He has to, while the momentum's going to be high to start with, the excitement of a new chapter after two really bad years will be very fired up, and I think we'll really go at them. And again, yeah, they might be back to they might have fixed the problems they had behind the scenes last season. Maybe Burgess has reflected and he realised he's made loads of mistakes and he coaches better and they're great and they beat us. But I don't think it's a game to be scared of or worried about at all. I really don't. But it's a hard one to predict because if Wire are the Wire of last season, I think we'll be much improved, even by game one. I know it's going to take time to get to Rowley's final team. That doesn't happen in game one of your first year. But I think even in game one of year one, we will see a marked improvement from the end of last year. That's
why we
enough
need
to
more
at
than one
least
pre-season game.
that should be enough to at least be competitive, even if Wire are back to the best. It should be a good game either way. Should be a very good game.
And then the first home game is Lee. And what?
That'll be another big one as well. Huge one.
What is that kit?
Oh.
What is it? It looks like you're like a painter who's had like the same palette for about 20 years, and it's just a mess. It looks like that.
Looks like Jackson Pollock if he was on drugs. That's what it looks like.
It looks like Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrat just been put in the tumble dryer.
Looks like it looks like a 3-year-old's just been given a big pot of paint to stick his hands in.
Yeah, looks like a finger painting.
Listen, they've made the bed with the branding. They've chose to be the leopards. They have to have leopardy print style that was your choice, Derek. Make your bed and
You
lie
don't really have
in
to,
it.
though.
But as bad, I don't think you can have a good kit with leopard branding. I just think it's if they stick
No.
to that style. However, the last two were better than this one, at least.
Oh,
Obviously, the first one, the original, was hilarious, but they fixed it. They got rid of the cat's ass on the back, and they
oh,
made the head
fucking
not
hell.
as weird in the middle. But
Yeah.
the final version of the first kit and last season's, they weren't good, but they were all right. The branding was there, the leopard
They
print.
weren't as offensive as this one.
What the fuck is this? Because this isn't even leopard print. It's not even really leopard print. Thing
It's
looking
just
at it, guys.
shambles.
It's literally like your Jackson Pollock has just had a bit of meth and he's just gone all. I mean, what is going on? Like,
And do you know what? Do you know what? I even said like someone, oh, these are like this kit because they're fucking daft. And they do. And then players who unveiled it,
bizarre.
parading themselves around in the club.
But like, imagine if you don't really know much about rugby league and you just see a grown man or woman walking around with whatever that is. I mean,
I'll have a word
how
with
could
him
you?
on Sunday,
Oh,
I
Jesus!
said, Derek, are you all right? It's not even him designing it though. It's the makers, isn't it? Well, I know that I'll have a say in it, but I'm thinking, what were you
Yeah,
on acid when you come up with this one?
honestly, like just bizarre. But it's good to laugh at, and I think as long as they are the leopards, there's always going to be fun kits to laugh at. To be honest, because you just made a coffin for yourself with that branding. Because how on earth are you ever going to
Well,
make that?
they have
That
to
look
win
good?
something this season now just to get away with it.
Yeah. So, and speaking of Derek, he's snooping about the Salford. If you want to go into that.
I have seen one where Irwin is interested and with Adrian Morley as
So
well.
yeah. So obviously, first of all, I think we should say, you know, a genuine, not being a smart ass, rest in peace to the original Salford
Yeah.
club. Disgrace, utter disgrace that it's been allowed to happen. Yes, financially for years they've not been sustainable, and yes, they needed a new buyer. Yes, they might have been kicked out the league. I think that might have been better for because they might still have their original club. If they'd
Yeah.
have waited until the right owners, then yeah, they might have had to get kicked out of Super League. They might have had to lose all the players, but they lost them anyway, and they lost the club anyway. If you didn't get the guarantee, the RFL should have done proper checks. Remember, Tony Sutton, the
Yeah.
ex-chief, said that they did Google searching. That's a quote from him, by the way. That's how inept the RFL have been. They Google searched the new owners. They didn't do a proper finance check. They didn't get proof of funds, proof that the funds were coming. They didn't get. They definitely did not get references or anything of the kind from people who've previously worked in partnership with them. It was a disgrace that those cowboys were allowed to take hold of that club. They should have taken the hit last year, waited for the consortiums to come last year, and just accept that they might have had to go. And you know what? Maybe they would have been liquidated anyway. But it's better that it would have happened sooner because they would have had a new club sorted by now. So would it not have been better for this just to have happened last season at the beginning? Because then you could have spent a full year getting the club ready for the new Phoenix club ready for the first year, the year after. Yeah. Now we're in the position because these arseholes delayed the HMRC ruling 4 times. That whoever takes over has got 6 weeks to get a new club ready. Not going to happen. They won't play. No. They won't. I guarantee you. They'll have to wait for a year and play the year after. I think there's no way. Yeah. There's no way they play. But yeah, just want to say, feel for Salford fans. 152 years of history. Fans,
they're more optimistic than anything else.
That's my point.
They've got them out because they're out.
If this had to happen, it should have happened last season.
Yeah.
Rather than go through that year of getting battered and playing 16-year-olds and, watching the bitter feud happen between staff and the fans, would it not have been better to reject these owners and just maybe get liquidated last year? Because that means they would have had a year more than they've had to get a new club ready. So I understand why they're saying that because it should have happened sooner. But yeah, I've heard there's a few consortiums coming in, but Derek Beaumont is helping one of them. It's not the Chris Irwin one; it's a different one. He's
Yeah.
come out with an interview today. Our you know, um, dodgy Derek, and he said that there's a good Salford person behind it, and he's giving them advice. So God knows what that looks like or what's going to happen there. But yes, there's also another one with the former CEO Chris Irwin um, involved, and I believe there's at least one other one as well. So hopefully, like I said, if I was them, I would just try and focus on next year. I would take a full year to plan in the
Yeah.
background, make your business plan airtight, make sure you're ready for that first game next year. Recruit, you've got a full year to recruit your squad, not a month. You know, what are they going to do in a month and a half
I
with a
know. I don't think
squad
it's going to get done,
and
but I
staff? They've got no
think,
one, no staff, no squad. For me, they should talk to the RFL and say, listen, what division do we have to start in if we go the year after? Can we still start in the championship? Which I think they'd be able to do because they've combined that with League One now. So I understand money wise, you want to start generating that income. It's going to take someone to front up a lot of money and have to wait for a year. I
yeah,
get that. It's not my money. But would that maybe not be better than trying to, because it's going to be a mess. Well, if they manage to come out with a coach, a physio, a doctor, backroom staff, stewards, cooks, waiters at the state, whatever, like players, it's not going to be great. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to be another season of getting battered every week. That's all I can see for them. Now,
yeah. We don't want that.
obviously long term, they'll be optimistic and they won't have a problem with it probably because they know the futures. But just for those fans, I mean, it's up to them. Those fans
Yeah,
might say, want it back as soon as possible. If we get battered for a year, who cares? Fair enough, but
yeah,
it just seems like it's going to be. They might make bad. This is what happened last time. They chased that short term success and they paid for it. Is putting new owners under such time pressure? Is that not risking those same mistakes happening? Throwing money about to get a team together when they don't really have the time to do that. I just hope it works out, whatever happens.
yeah. So all we can really do is wish them all the best. And speaking of wishing all the best, I want to say good luck to Kevin Sinfield, who's we don't need to
Yeah,
go
good
into that
luck.
'cause everyone knows what he's doing. So that one speaks for itself. Sunday is the Steve Prescott Foundation versus Mickey Iron Fund charity game. It's essentially a Saints Legends versus Warrington Legends in it, which I think will be a cracking little game of rugby league, to be honest. Poorly
Yes, it
Masters
will be.
rules, which is fine,
Yeah.
and we will have a stall set up for anyone who wants to come over and speak about rugby league. You're more than welcome. It's an open platform for anyone.
And remind them of the
Hopefully,
time, Gaz.
1:30 kickoff at Ruskin Drive.
1:30 kick-off at Ruskin Drive.
I'll be down there before then, so we'll hopefully see people down there. Um, if you're
Yeah, it should be
watching
a good
this,
one.
yep, we'll post the full squad list along with the what do you call it? Sponsors who are also joining in, which is what we're going to do next year. Me
Yes,
and you could
definitely.
raise 200 quid between us to get us both in there.
Yeah, I think we can do it. I
Yeah,
think we can do it.
yep. And if you're watching, you might notice the t-shirts. We are getting some merchandise.
Yeah, Gaz has
I'm
been
gonna,
plugging away, working at this.
yeah, I'm gonna give this a few run outs, give it a few washes, see how it goes. I'll bring it Sunday. I'll have it hung up so you can have a little nosy at it. Other little things in the pipeline that I'm not going to put out there just yet because nothing's concrete.
Mm-hmm.
I am sort of rushing through this because I do need to be away before 6, so it is what it is. Um, what are we going to do next week? Because if I speak to a few players on Sunday, I'm going to clip them together for a podcast. If we just put in whatever news can scrape and then add that to it, and then that'll be us done for the year, apart from maybe
Yes.
one interview.
Yeah. So we're coming to the end of the season one.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah, that's said, all. We've not done bad for our first year, have we?
Not done too bad. Appreciate all the support and people actually like commenting and recognizing us is a bit
Yeah.
weird. Still find that a bit odd, but yeah, it's good. People, asking questions, and that's what we want. So more in more interactive
Yeah.
stuff.
The,
So
the more you lot interact with us, the better.
yeah, don't be afraid of we don't bite of like putting your own opinions down on any clips on TikTok or the
Yeah.
Instagram, or even you can
Hey,
do it on
listen,
Spotify and
you,
YouTube.
you
Just
can make one comment that completely change our mind on something. You know what I
yeah,
mean? We
so
are open to it.
yeah, so we're seeing the stat. We know there's a lot of silent watchers because we've seen the stats. So just I'd only say just encourage you to get involved more, just comment more, and you know we've had like some ideas of maybe having people on if they want to, but it depends if
Yes, that's something we're going to do going
so
forward. Bringing fans on.
like get more people's opinions. So let us know if you want to do that, and if you're somebody who happens to have come across this and you are somebody who's worked in rugby league in any capacity, or a player, feel free to like get involved. You
Yeah,
can we can work together on stuff. It's fine.
yeah.
More
This is
more
not
collaboration.
it's not an exclusive club like the other ones. So we
Yeah, it's
do
not just
bring
our
other people in.
soapbox. We want to bring more people in next time.
Yeah,
So,
because
which is why
end
we
of the
always
day,
do the
it is for the
interviews as
fans, innit?
well. Yeah.
It's for the fans. So
So
yeah, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up here, unfortunately. But yeah, it has been a slow news week anyway, apart from those odd little bits. So yeah, come down if you're down on Sunday. Feel free to come over and speak to us, and we're not going to bite your heads off.
yeah, we'll try not to anyway.
I try not to. Yeah. So yeah, so we'll be back next week, and we'll see you then.